I'm here at JP Morgan's Bournemouth branch. Since the global economic crisis back in 2008, big American bankers have been hiding away in places like this. Now, economics might not be the most exciting subject in the world, but there's one thing for sure, it does matter to all of us. Question is, how much will it matter to the American voters when they come to elect their next president?
This particular presidential election, it's the economy stupid kind of an election. Poll after poll after poll is coming out saying that people are really concerned about the economy and unemployment, and those are the top two in a poll announced today by Gallup. They just came out with some new statistics saying that those are the top two issues that Americans are saying are facing the country today.
Despite people out shopping today, the global economic crisis has affected each and every one of us. Most feel it through public spending cuts and through unemployment.
The economy is extremely important. I think even from when the whole recession thing has happened, I think people in America beforehand weren't really as knowledgeable about the economy and how the economy works, and now, because it's truly affected them, a lot of people are out of work, losing their homes, etc. It's now something that's become one of the key things in the election, and one of the key things to, whoever the president's going to be, what their plan is and who has the better plan.
Many blame the US for landing us in this economic mess in the first place. But even if that's true, they do seem to be bouncing back and recovering more quickly. Here are the American economy's vital statistics. Since President Obama took office in January 2009, the median household income level has dropped by 7.3%. That means that the average American family has effectively lost a month's worth of pay. In fact, some economists argue that the Obama recovery has actually been worse for the American people than the recession that happened under the previous president, George Bush. The national debt currently sits at over $16 trillion, and that means for every $1 that the government spends this year, 31 cents of that is borrowed cash. During his first year in power, Obama took the national budget deficit up to a record $1.4 billion. It has come down slightly since then and now stands at $1.1 billion. Inflation throughout the Obama years has remained low, which has kept rising living costs at bay. But the biggest headache of all is unemployment in the country, which almost doubled in Obama's first 2 years, meaning that around 1 in 10 Americans were jobless. It now sits at 8.2%. Now let's look at how the two candidates plan to tackle this situation. Unlike the British government, President Obama has been reluctant to cut spending in the economy. The Democrat insisted on borrowing more money to bail out the stalled automotive industry, among other things. Obama has now come up with a 10-year plan to get rid of the $1.1 trillion deficit. He wants to eliminate the Bush era of tax cuts for households earning over $250,000 a year. And he also promises to not let the government spending get out of control. The idea is to invest in the US economy and create jobs through new projects such as building a new hospital. The problem is, all these projects cost money that the government doesn't have, and it's already racked up a colossal bill on its overdraft. In summary then, Obama wants to invest in new projects which will hopefully employ more people. He also wants to reduce the deficit over a longer period of time and increase taxes on the rich. The risk here is that the national debt continues to spiral out of control and the economy doesn't actually recover. Meanwhile, Mitt Romney says he would reduce government spending much faster and deeper than the president has, much like the US government is doing right now. But he seems reluctant to say exactly which areas of the budget he would reduce. One thing is for certain though, President Obama's Obamacare law would be scrapped and replaced, resulting in a huge saving on healthcare costs to the state. The Republican argues that taxing people more and effectively taking away a bigger proportion of their cash will make them feel poorer, and so they'll be less inclined to spend. And if no one spends, then the economy fails. He'll be cutting personal tax rates, which is always a hit with the voters. Saving the government's money means that it can begin to pay off that mountain of debt. And Romney also wants to boost enterprise in the US by deregulating the banks, cutting red tape for businesses and bringing down corporation tax to 25%, which he believes will revive the economic recovery. So the main plan is to cut taxes in the hope that everyone spends more, reduce government spending to pay off the deficit, and help businesses to grow the economy again. However, if Mr. Romney cuts spending too much and too soon, he runs the risk of taking all the energy out of the economy and sending it back into recession. It seems then that fixing the economy will be the voters' priority this election. All they have to do now is choose austerity or investment. This has been Ollie Hill reporting for BU NewsLab.